The demodog burst from the rift, jaws wide, a blur of teeth and rot. Krampus met it midair, swinging his axe in a clean, brutal arc. The creature's skull collapsed like rotten fruit. Before its corpse even hit the frozen ground, something in the dark hooked a glistening claw into one of my troopers and yanked them into the trees. Not a sound, not a scream, just a smear of steaming blood across the snow. I had seen monsters. I had survived things that shouldn't exist. But the Upside Down always held something worse. I was the commander of Mobile Task Force Epsilon 10, Santa's Little Helpers. The nickname was a joke, but the kind that hides a truth. We were the team they sent into the dark when a Foundation site went silent. We were cleanup, we were executioners, and this place, this dimension, had been declared terminal. The air here was thick with spores that glowed faintly like dying embers. Ash drifted constantly, settling on our matte black armor. Every breath felt like inhaling mildew and memory. Icicle muttered calculations under her breath. Reality was bending again. She always knew before our equipment did. Tinsel moved beside me, his visor reflecting a nothing at all. Not snow, not light, not even the Demogorgon pack tearing into some mutilated thing in the distance. Krampus wiped Demodog bone off his axe, bored. This was the calmest any of them had been all week. We moved silently through what used to be Hawkins, or rather the Upside Down's copy of it, sagging buildings, twisted trees, dead light bulbs glowing faintly like bruises. The air hummed with psychic pressure. The Mind Flayer was watching, always watching, a sun made of hatred somewhere beyond our senses. Krampus nudged me. "Movement," he whispered. In the collapsed library, 4 small heat signatures flared on my HUD. Human, young, terrified. Not our mission. We kept moving until the Mind Flayer trembled through the ground, a psychic pulse that rattled teeth and cracked icicles off the ruined ceiling. The Demogorgons froze. So did the kids. A choked scream echoed from the shadows. Something far larger than a Demogorgon was moving. Something that wasn't supposed to be here. Icicle stiffened. "Commander, this place is waking up." She was right. A new tear split the air open, a perfect clean line, razor sharp, not one of ours. The Demogorgons turned toward it, confused. Then their confusion became terror. 3 matte black silhouettes stepped out of the wound. No sound, no fanfare, just cold surgical presence. US. We entered our own portal, and the Upside Down recoiled. Krampus stepped forward, axe dripping. Icicle scanned the terrain. Tinsel raised his Unmaker weapon, the hum rising like a mosquito boring into skull. A Demogorgon roared and charged. Tinsel fired. No sound, no flash. The thing dissolved into static like a glitch wiped off a screen. In the ruined library, the 4 kids stared with wide, numb eyes. Dustin whispered something that sounded like a prayer. Elle pressed a trembling hand against her nose, sensing us, not our bodies, but our minds. Not minds at all, really. Just steel, cold, complete steel. We moved past them without a word. Civilians. Contamination. Not a priority. We were here for something bigger. Anomaly 84, H designation SCP-4051-B. The Mind Flayer's dimension, alive. A brain the size of a world. The Foundation didn't want to kill it, they wanted to disconnect it, and we were the scalpel. Krampus paused, looking toward the kids for a moment. His visor lowered like he was deciding whether to end them. I gave a signal. He turned away. Data collected. Threat assessed. Dimension hostile. Exfil, I ordered. The portal shimmered open behind us. Icicle dropped one more reality anchor just to spite the place. An orb of white light in the rot. The ground hissed like meat hitting a fryer. We stepped through and vanished. The kids watched the reality slice closed with a soft, wet snap. They were alone again, but the mind flayer wasn't, and neither were we. The portal they built for the second incursion wasn't a neat slice this time. It was a wound, a massive circular gate carved into the air, stitched with metal braces and humming with power that made the oxygen taste like pennies. Engineers scattered the moment it stabilized. Even they hated looking at it. I stood at the front of Epsilon 10 as the Upside Down oozed its cold breath into our world. Behind us, Epsilon 9 fire eaters powered up their igniters, the flamethrowers that didn't burn with normal fire, but a white-hot chemical inferno meant to erase anything biological down to the idea of it. The OFOB briefing had been blunt. You are not going to kill a monster. You are going to lobotomize a dimension. Krampus tightened his grip on the axe. Icicle muttered another string of numbers, rapid, panicked, like reality was whispering equations only she could hear. Tinsel's visor reflected the gate as a void. Even the light was afraid to land on him. I stepped forward. Move. We entered hell. The air, the Upside Down, slammed into us, thick and rotten. The spore clouds swarmed instantly, only to sizzle against the hard light envelopes forming around our suits. The Mind Flayer's hum greeted us like a heartbeat in the sky. Its anger rolled across the world like thunder. Epsilon 9 poured fire in every direction. The landscape shrieked as it died, vines curling, structures collapsing, demodogs bursting into greasy clouds as the flames rolled over them. Creatures fled, creatures fought, creatures burned. For the first time, the Upside Down wasn't hunting. It was running. Krampus laughed behind me, a short barking sound. "Commander, we are making it scared." The ground answered him. It pulsed. A psychic shockwave slammed into us. The static roar in our helmets nearly shattered bone. Reality bulged like the world itself inhaled. And then he rose. Vecna, not a man, not anymore. A tangled throne of vines lifted him dozens of feet into the air. His body cracked and reshaped with every breath, like it barely remembered being human. He raised a hand, thought hit like a hammer. One of the fire eaters floated into the air, limbs bending the wrong way, flesh stretching into long strings like melted cheese. He didn't scream. His mind was already gone. The reality anchors flickered. One died. The shadows devoured that patch of ground instantly. Icicle gasped. Her voice trembled. "Commander, he's overriding the anchors." Tinsel rotated the Unmaker weapon toward Vecna. Sub-alpha entity identified. Krampus braced beside him. Vecna tilted his head, studying us. His voice dragged across the world, a whisper in every ear. "You do not belong here." My thoughts felt like they were crawling out of my skull. The Mind Flayer pressed against us, an intelligence the size of a continent squeezing reality like clay. I stepped forward, planting the largest anchor on the ground. The sphere bloomed, blinding white, a bubble of our rules in their world. Vecna recoiled. The telekinetic choke broke. The fire eater fell, his body a ruined knot on the ground. Krampus didn't hesitate. He charged straight at Vecna. For a moment, the monster was almost amused. Then Tinsel fired. A beam of unlight cut through the air, slashing into Vecna's psychic field. He screeched a dry, bone-deep sound that rippled across the dimension. His throne crumbled, vines withered. He retreated into the mist, leaving a smear of psychic rage burning in our skulls. The Mind Flayer itself began to take shape overhead. a swirling storm of shadow and lightning spider limbs stretching across the sky. Icicle staggered. "It's coming in full. Commander, we don't have time. Set the tripod." Our final weapon hit the ground, a long, spined array that unfolded like a predatory flower. It needed 30 seconds to charge. The Far Eaters formed a wall of flames around us. Demogorgons hurled themselves through the fire, bodies igniting mid-leap. Krampus cleaved them apart in burning chunks. Tinsel fired, erasing entire groups with cold, efficient beams. Icicle knelt by the device, hands shaking as she stabilized the field. The Mind Flayer's consciousness pressed down harder. Blood leaked from my nose. My vision doubled. Then I felt her. A small, sharp spark in the darkness. A scream. Not of fear, but defiance. 11. She stood beyond the flames. Her eyes glassy with pain, her blood mixing with spores in the air, her power lashed out, not at the Mind Flayer, but at its psychic web. She didn't break it, she just made it flinch. For 1 second, that was enough. The tripod array let out a soft chime, charged. I shouted the only word that mattered. "Fire!" No sound came out, no light. Just a wave, silent, invisible, expanding across the dimension like a ripple in a black ocean. Every creature stopped moving. Demogorgons dropped like broken toys. The vines went limp. Vecna's silhouette froze mid-crawl. The sky spider writhed silently, limbs shaking, energy bleeding away. Then it collapsed. The entire Mind Flayer evaporated into drifting black dust. Silence, real silence. The hum was gone. The rage was gone. The consciousness ruling the dimension was severed, cut off from its body, locked inside its own mind forever. We had lobotomized a world, and for the first time since I'd entered the Upside Down, the air didn't hate me, but I knew better. The Foundation would come back. They'd contain the corpse of this place. They'd track the children, especially the girl. We gathered our dead. We collected samples. We turned our backs on the world we'd butchered. And as we stepped through the collapsing gate, Icicle whispered, "Commander, if we could cut its mind out, what if something else can put it back?" I didn't have an answer. The silence we left behind felt alive. The gate collapsed behind us with the sound of a world exhaling or dying. The engineers were already tearing the equipment apart before the sparks faded. Nobody wanted the portal to accidentally twitch back open. We returned to Provisional Site 113, formerly known as Hawkins, Indiana. They called it Provisional, a polite way of saying no one here is ever going home. Inside the decontamination bay, our helmets were stripped off and our armor sealed in lead-lined containers. Scranton anchors hummed in every hallway, keeping reality tight and obedient. But the silence, that was wrong. No hum, no pressure, no psychic weight. The absence of hatred felt unnatural, like a predator that suddenly stops growling. Krampus paced the room like a caged animal. Without a monster to split open, he had nothing to anchor himself to. Tinsel stared at the floor, visor in hand. The surface reflected nothing, just a void shaped like a helmet. Icicle sat on the edge of a cot, running numbers through shaking hands. "It shouldn't be quiet," she whispered. "A mind that big doesn't vanish, it echoes, it leaves scars." I knew she was right, but the Foundation didn't want theories, they wanted results. And the O5 Council wanted us. The chamber they brought us to was built entirely of white. White walls, white lights, white table, an interrogation room masquerading as a salon. 3 O5 representatives appeared on the screen. Their faces were fuzzed, just silhouettes. I stood at attention. "Commander, one of them said, voice flattened into anonymity. Your team's actions have neutralized SCP-4051's primary consciousness. Neutralized. That was their favorite lie. Another silhouette leaned forward. However, the type green girl interacted with the psychic field. We require your assessment. They meant 11. A child, a survivor, a weapon they wanted to label and number. She is unstable, I said, but she helped us sever the mind flayer. Without her distraction, the wave wouldn't have succeeded. The room stiffened. They didn't like hearing they owed a child anything. Commander, the third silhouette said, Epsilon 10 is hereby ordered to locate and secure the psionic civilian designated POI Green Hawkins 01 alive. I felt Krampus tense beside me, eager. Tinsel's fingers brushed the holster of his Unmaker weapon. Habit, not intent. Icicle's breath caught. They wanted the girl in a cage. And the moment they said it, I realized something. They were afraid. The Foundation doesn't fear monsters. They fear unknowns. L was now an unknown. I nodded because nodding meant we'd leave the room. It didn't mean we'd obey. We tracked the kids easily at first. Footprints in snow, heat echoes, even psychic residue. L's power left disturbances like fingerprints on glass. But then, nothing. Their trail cut off at the edge of the old woods. Clean, perfect, surgical. Icicle crouched down, touching the disturbed moss. This wasn't them, she murmured. Something masked the trail. Vecna? Krampus asked. No, she said. Vecna's gone. This feels like interference, like someone wiping a hard drive. We searched for 2 days. Nothing, no prints, no heat, no psychic noise. They weren't hiding and they were removed. On the third night, a storm rolled in, not a natural one. At Site 113, nothing was natural anymore. The wind grew cold enough to frost steel. Anchors flickered, and somewhere above us, something tapped, soft, rhythmic, like fingernails on glass. Krampus stopped, mid-step. That isn't weather. The tapping grew louder. Icicle stared up, horrified. You said we severed it, she whispered, but maybe we didn't cut deep enough. Lightning tore open the sky. Not white, not blue. Black lightning. A tearing sound rolled across the base. Metal rending. Reality straining. Anchors screamed. Alarms blared. Tinsel turned to me, visor reflecting the storm's impossible color. Commander, he said, monotone but urgent. The mind is reacting. No, Icicle breathed. That it's remembering. And then, for just a heartbeat, dash, dash. The clouds above the Foundation base pulsed like a living lung. A single psychic whisper slid across every mind on site. Hungry. The mind flayer's body was dying, but its mind, severed, trapped, blind, was still alive, and it was feeling its way back.